All right, we are recording for TV Grapevine. How did you two meet and ultimately decide to do the show together?
So Natalie and I met like 5 or 6 years ago doing projects together for a church, and we did tons and tons of projects. We like made our own doors. We redid children's spaces, just lots of different fun, creative things together. And when I applied for the show, I didn't really know any other Lego female builders. And so I'd applied for season 1 with a different partner, and then she was unavailable for season 2. So I was like, who do I know that's like super creative? And then of course, Natalie popped into my mind, and I was like, okay, we've done fun projects together before. Like, I don't know if she does Lego, but I'm going to ask her. And so I don't know if I called her or texted her, and I was like, hey, so I'm applying for Lego Masters. Would you want to be my partner? And she was like, sure, and then months later, when I got a call back from the show, I called her right away, and I was like, okay, remember how you said you wanted to apply with me, that you would apply with me? Okay, if you've changed your mind, I totally get it, because life happens, but we got a call back. So are you still like open to, apply to be on the show with me? And she was like, yeah. So that's kind of how that happened. I mean, she had a whole mess of stuff going on at that time with moving and everything, but she made it work.
Yeah, to hop on a Zoom call, I was like, let me find a room that doesn't have boxes stacked from floor to ceiling, and we'll figure it out. But yeah, so we had just done a lot of other projects together, and I hadn't built with Lego like very extensively, other than just like with my kids. We've done some sets, and we've built some things that are not like super impressive builds, but are builds that like we had a lot of good memories over. My youngest likes to build houses and buildings, and she has her realtor minifigs, sell them to the other minifigs, and then they remodel the houses. So they're not going to be any super like impressive commissioned build, but they're going to be builds that have a lot of really great memories. So I very quickly was like, okay, I got to learn as much as I can, because even though this is cute, this is not Lego master level. So I dove into a lot of YouTube to learn as many techniques as I could, and send things back and forth via text and FaceTime, Michelle and I, to like try and get, some techniques under my belt and learn some things that I didn't know before. And it's been a wild journey ever since.
For sure.
What was one of the biggest challenges in terms of competing?
The fact that we never built together was probably one of the biggest challenges. We've done a lot of other projects together, but just trying to like learn like our build style, like as a team, under the pressure of the clock, I think was stressful, just like, okay, well, how are we going to like, divvy up the work, and how are we going to, and neither one of us had built to that scale before either. So that was another added challenge, like building to a massive scale. We've never built together before, and never been. There were so many things, never been on TV before, trying to work around all that. So I have a whole list of things, I guess, but it was super fun. It was such a fun, like wild adventure that I'm still just shocked that we got to be on. So I'm forever grateful for it.
Yeah. And I think like we just kind of leaned into the stuff that we did know how to do from having done a lot of DIY projects and building with like lumber and, sheet metal, and like using some of that vocabulary to like talk about Lego or different techniques that we've used with like furniture building and applying that to Lego. So we tried to like use what we knew and try to apply it to these challenges that we oftentimes didn't know much about. Like I've never built anything off the edge of a cliff with 10 two-stud connectors,
so or to survive an earthquake or wind.
Yeah, right. Yeah. So yeah.
Awesome. What was your favorite task you completed on the show?
Like our favorite build?
Yeah, let's go with that.
Okay.
Yeah.
For sure, our my favorite build I know is the hat challenge, for so many reasons. I think it was the challenge that Natalie and I, kind of hit the ground running. Like a lot of other challenges, we kind of spend a little bit more time than other people, like trying to like figure out our plan and what we're going to do and like what ideas that we have. This one, I think we knew like right off the bat, we just kind of, as soon as we started discussing our idea, we were like, okay, yes, let's do that. Oh, yes, let's do that. Oh, yes, let's do that. And then we immediately ran and got parts from the brick pit, and we kind of started building right away. And even when the brickmasters came over to check in with us, we had like a whole spread of things on our table already, which I was super proud of because that didn't normally happen. So
yeah, normally the first check-in, they'd come by and we had like stuff on that tablet sketched out, but like nothing else, because we would still be in planning phase. So that one was like, yes, we've started.
It was really encouraging to me, because we're like, okay, well, maybe we've hit our stride. We're like, we're like on the 4th episode and our 4th challenge, and now we're really like learning each other. And so that was super fun. And just all of the behind the scenes backstage fashion aspect of it, the being able to like all the energy of all the other teammates and being excited with them. And that was, for sure, so many reasons my favorite challenge.
And it was cool to see like what everybody gravitated toward and like what their like VIP brick piece was, like everybody had something different. And we thought for sure everybody was going to be going for like the ropes and the like bionic arms and all those to make like netting. Like we just thought everybody's going to have that same idea. So we need to make sure we get those parts first. And everybody, I think, had their own idea in their head of like, we got to make sure we get this part first because it's going to be the most important piece. And so it's really cool seeing how everybody's brain works so differently and uses all these different tools to like build their amazing creation. And it's like everybody kind of has their own lane of creativity that they're running in. So it was just a really cool one to see and experience that way.
Yeah, because we were like, okay, people are for sure going to go for things that look like fabric, because that's, immediately like, okay, capes, rope, all of these things that are very like fabric like, and we're like, okay, we got to make sure we get some of that so it's not all gone. And then it was never touched except for us. So fun.
Awesome. And do you think you had inspired young girls to channel their own inner Lego master by going on the show?
I know personally, I know I've inspired my daughter. She's been a Lego fan for a long time. And I think this has just really like amped up her love for it. Like she wants to build the things that we built on the show. So I know that like in my own home, that is true. And I've gotten so many like wonderful messages from like Instagram and then just doing a couple of meet and greets, just meeting parents and kids and hearing their stories about how we inspired them. I didn't expect that to happen. I mean, I didn't go into the show, like even thinking about that. But it's just been a really amazing like bonus. It's actually incredible. I don't know, every time somebody tells me that, it just makes me get a little misty-eyed, and it just means a lot. So I'm just excited that we can inspire.
Yeah, like that was really a huge surprise, because like I don't know that I had like really thought like, oh, well, that's like a thing, that's cool, like until Amy was like, you guys are also inspiring people. I was kind of like, nah. And then like we'll get messages from people like Michelle said, or like pictures of like girls building their own. Like a friend of mine sent me a picture of their daughter. She had built her own hat. She was on her roller skates and like in their laundry room and was like, look what you inspired my daughter to build. And I'm like, dude, that's awesome. I love that. Like I love anything that inspires kids to be creative and like get in there and start, learning different STEM things. Like, so it was a really cool byproduct of us being on the show, because it was definitely something that neither one of us went into the show thinking would happen or that we would be a part of. So of course that feels amazing.
It does. Like I know even like one of my other kids, my middle one, he's 10, and he got up one morning, it was after the puppet challenge, and he was in the Lego room. Gosh, I think it was like at 6 o'clock in the morning, and I heard the Legos like rustling around, or the not Legos, Lego parts and pieces like rustling around.
Scratch that from the record.
I could say that all the time, and I'm like, it's not Legos, but he was in here like for hours just building and like created this like awesome puppet, and I was just like, oh my gosh, that's so amazing. And he was inspired by the show. So sorry. But yeah, so I feel like the show, like I didn't realize even how much I inspire my own kids, but it's really just like so much fun to like watch and be a part of. And I've even had a mom on Instagram message me last night pictures of her little boy crying because we were eliminated. And she's like, there were a lot of tears shed last night. And I was like, oh, that makes my heart so sad. But I just never thought it would be, I don't know. I guess I didn't think about that when going on. So
Yeah,
it's really amazing to have such a big impact.
Absolutely. And then the last question here is, what's next for you?
Oh, what a good question. Next for me, I am just really excited about going to my first convention. Like, as far as like Lego is, like, I am just like, we are set to go next week, and I just can't wait. I've never been to one, and I get to meet up with all of the, we get to meet up with all the other contestants, well, the ones that are able to go. And I'm just so excited. Like, I've met up with Brian and Lauren one other time, and just having this like group of like, I feel like lifelong friends from this point forward is just really awesome. And being able to like experience this, what's next with them is really cool. With the rest of like my life, projects are always a thing. So, but Lego, I'm hoping to go lots of conventions and like learn that side of Lego, because before this I hadn't done anything like that. I just, did Lego at home with my kiddos. So it'll be fun to see like what it's like, in like the adult world with Lego. I don't know. So
That's super cool. For me right now, I've got a lot of music stuff that I'm working on and releasing, and in the process of writing with my producer, Josh. So that's been really fun, and we're really excited to pour into some of those creative outlets. And then as far as Lego goes, I'm excited to go to my first convention too. I had no idea that this was a thing. So yeah, next week we're really pumped to get to meet up with some of our castmates and have a viewing and a viewing. Oh, that sounded like a funeral. I mean, like a viewing of the finale where we can root on the brother teams and hang out with some people that also love Lego. And so I'm really excited to go to FanX and do a panel there and meet other people that are interested in a lot of similar stuff. So it should be super fun. And I'm really excited that I know that this is now like a thing that exists. So excited to be part of it.